Okay.
Okay, we have with us now Mr. John Pulley, supervisor for engineering and planning and support. He's also takes care of all the cooperative education students and the program when you arrive at the shipyard. And he has some people with him. He will introduce at the appropriate time. So I'll just turn it over to you, John, and you can go.
All right. Glad you all could come today. And of course, what we want to talk to you is about our design co-op program that we have at Newport News Shipbuilding. And we have quite a few positions. And what I'm going to do is just tell you a little bit about the program, and then I'm going to turn the program over to Shauna Gammon, who is a student here now that's doing a work term at Newport News Ship. And then later, I'm going to get Nancy Burkett is going to tell you how you can enroll in the program, what the pay is, and things of that like that. Okay, I'm sure a lot of you know about Newport News Shipbuilding. I mean, I assume that most of you are probably local. Newport News, of course, is the largest, and we say the best shipyard in the nation. We employ approximately 28,000 people. 5,000 of those are in engineering. Now, most of our engineering jobs, one thing that we should portray is that you work in nice office areas. Generally, we've upgraded a lot of our facilities and so forth. You're not always down on the ship, but we do rotate people around to the waterfront where they can work on the ships. What we have right now is we're constructing 4 nuclear aircraft carriers and 11 nuclear submarines. We are also the design agent and planning yard for SSN 688 class submarines. We are the lead yard for the new submarine SSN 21 Seawolf. And that is a big program for us right now. This involves well over 1,000 engineers and designers at this time. At Newport News Ship, designers work with engineers and naval architects to transform ship concepts into precise drawings and specifications for constructing the ships. And some of the major responsibilities for designers are preparing sketches, layouts, and the detailed design for building the ship. And a lot of this often is using computer-aided design CAD equipment. And right now we have one of the biggest IBM systems they make, or it is the biggest they make. It's IBM 3900-600S, if that means anything to you. Of course, you'll be performing design analysis using engineering computations. You'll verify the accuracy of your work and the completeness of the finished designs and drawings. We do a check and balance of all the work and so forth. And what you all would be doing is working right alongside of other designers that are there now. You're really right on the job. It's no menial task. It's the type of things that we think gives you good experience and a lot of confidence in what you'll do. You'll consult with other company personnel to resolve design problems. You probably may get involved with ship checks and ironing out problems on the ship. You'll probably work with another designer and learn how to do that type of work. Some will prepare material and time estimates and cost comparisons. Participation in the co-op program enables you to examine suspected career interest. In other words, to see whether this is really what you want to pursue. Mostly all the students that we've had have been usually very happy with the environment and wanted to stay on. I'm going to let Shanna share that with you as far as that goes. And our people are very interested in them. I mean, it's very good later because most of the people get good jobs at the shipyard, and going through the co-op program usually pays off. It always has, as far as I know. It helps you develop your self-confidence. You can always notice the difference between a co-op student that's graduated and in the program and going to work over just somebody right out of 2-year school. You'll work on interesting, like I said earlier, meaningful projects, and it sort of begins your professional development. And Nancy will be talking to you about you do earn, we think, real good wages. And when you graduate, and of course it's mutually up to you and us whether you hire on after your graduation. There's no obligation on anybody's part. But you'll be sure, I think, when you do go to work that, hey, this is what I want to do. And the program allows you to do that. Like I said, too, if you enter the co-op program, you will be alternated around. A lot of times we will let you stay where you are if you really like it. We try to cooperate with you. And if you like a certain thing you're doing, we're going to try to work with you. And generally speaking, of course, you start after your first year. You finish the first year, and then you alternate semesters after that. And that's about all I had. You want to say a few things about your experience? Yeah? Okay. You need to. All right.
Let's see if we can just put it right here. You just hold it in your hand. You're not going to be moving around, are you?
Probably not.
Just lay it up there.
This wasn't fair. They didn't tell me they were going to put a microphone on me.
The audience can't hear the mic. It's only for the
Okay.
video.
That's okay.
You're unconnected, but it's possible. That's what I have to say.
So it's not like what they were describing in the math, where they're related and you go from one to the other.
No, in our co-op program, once you complete the program, complete your education here, you will become a junior designer. Now, if you were interested in going into an apprenticeship program, that's certainly something you can invest into.
It would be in a separate field.
It would be in a separate field. You would have to particular trade that you were interested in pursuing. And monetary-wise, you would be better off going the junior designer route.
How would you say?
I don't know the grades. Junior designer, senior designer, there's design supervisors, and all that. Some designers do decide after they work with us for a certain time period that they want to complete a four-year degree and go into engineering.
Do they do that on their own time?
Oh, excuse me, I was asking the question down here, I didn't realize y'all might be interested in this too.
We've got questions being asked, and you don't hear the questions or the answers, so we'll try to correct that problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's wait until Nancy.
Yeah, I think she's going to
We'll
talk
wait.
over
She's
this.
going to talk, and she'll be on the mic, and then you can ask the questions to that. Everybody in the audience can hear. Benefit from the question and answer.
Okay, I'm Shauna Gammon, and I'll be graduating in May from Thomas Nelson. This is my second term that I've been co-oping with Shipyard. And I am working on the Seawolf project. And primarily what I do is work in mechanical design. And they put me in what they call the sail area of the ship. And when I started there, I didn't even know what was what on a submarine. So, so we're working on making the mechanical parts like periscopes and the doors and antenna masts, all that sort of things what I'm working on. And primarily working on the CAD-M. Nothing's drawn on paper except for when you put a print out. Everything is on CAD-M, and that's been a lot of fun. It's a lot easier, like a lot better than drawing on paper. When I first got there, I basically told them I didn't really know anything. They expect a co-op not to know a whole lot. But they'll just give you everything you can handle. And so they keep giving it to you. And as long as you can handle it, they keep giving it to you. And as long as you keep asking questions, you can handle it. And they expect you to ask questions. Like I said, all you have to say is, I'm a co-op. And they go, okay. And then they'll explain to you. And they don't get upset with you because you don't know what you're doing. It's really great. You feel like you can walk in as a junior designer practically and be able to ask stupid questions. And they expect you to do that. One of the things that's nice is they have a mock-up. I guess I should explain what a mock-up is. We don't have an actual ship of the Seawolf yet. It's not built yet. So they go down and they build one up made out of, some of it's made out of steel, most of it's made out of wood or they'll put a, oh, well, the dials and everything are all just paper printouts. That's just what they call a mock-up. Doesn't work. But it tells you if the space works, if it's going to fit in the right place, that sort of thing. So you can go down and look at that, and it's hands-on. Or you can go down to the shipyard and watch them build some of the other submarines. So you can go down and ask some of the guys, how are you going to actually build this thing? How do I need to design it? The people that I work with are extremely friendly. You walk down the hall, everybody says hello. Everybody's willing to help you. I find it very, very easy to work. I guess I should back up just a little bit. I started out after raising my family. I'm not young like most of you are in here. And so I kind of went back into a career field. Totally new to me, totally just a total change. And the shipyard has just been great. I've loved it. I find that it's going to be a good experience if I put it on a resume, if I decide not to stay with the shipyard, go ahead and move on somewhere. Anywhere I've talked to, the shipyard's got a real good reputation. If you've worked there, that's real good to have on a resume if you decide not to stay with them. So one of the best things about being a co-op, I think, was the fact that I know my field. I walked into a mechanical design. I didn't know that's what I wanted to do. I love it. If I didn't particularly like that area, they could have changed me to something else, something that I probably would have liked better. My jitters are I'm a lot calmer. If I walked into a new job now, I'd feel like I was a lot more confident. I feel like I was really a junior designer instead of just walking in as somebody I didn't know what I was doing. So I've just learned a lot, and I'm thoroughly, thoroughly enjoying myself. That's it.
Okay, very good. Has anybody got any questions to Sean? Or she takes the mic off?
What did you major in?
Drafting and design is what I started out with.
Did you do any drawing at all?
Before that, no. I took it in high school, but high school was a long time ago.
Is there any fact of drawing anywhere?
You mean as far as not computer, you mean drawing?
Oh, yes, 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 there
Plenty
is.
of that.
Yes, there is. And lots of times I'll put it on the computer after they draw it on. Yes, definitely.
Did you know CAD when you walked in there?
No. I've taken a slight computer course before I got started at TNCC. I'm taking computer programming now. But there's what they call a CAD train, and it's self-paced. You go on, the computer tells you what you're doing. It just can read it. The guy's kind of humorous on it, too. It takes you up to 2 weeks. It sometimes only takes you a week. Depends on how fast you are, how fast you catch on to it. As soon as you're out of that, there's a few other things to learn, but after that, you're just, you know what you're doing. You don't have to draw a line, a point, and that sort of things.
Didn't you take the drawing and the computer your first year at college?
No.
How'd you get into co-op?
I've been taking them in drafting classes, but when I first started, CAD wasn't required. When college.
151, 152, that type of course before you start to go on. You get basic drafting.
Oh, yes, basic drafting, but not computer drafting. Did I misunderstand your question?
Now, all of you, when you select your courses for the next semester, need to make sure that you take all the courses listed in the catalog for that spring term, which will include the CAD course, AutoCAD, Drafting 231. Okay? So you'll have that experience before you go to work.
We're working on a CAD system instead of AutoCAD, so you've got the basic ideas, and then the CAD will tell you how you're supposed to use that particular computer. It's IBM.
Let me expand on what you asked a minute ago about the non-CAD areas. See, a lot of our older contracts, like the 688 program, which we've still got 11 ships to go, is not all on CAD. The new drawings basically go on CAD, but anything that has to be rearranged and things like that is still hand-drawn. And the Enterprise, I didn't mention this a little while ago, is coming back in for refueling in late 1990. Mostly all those drawings are hand-drawn. Now, like I say, they're doing new ones on CAD. So there's a good blend and mixture. The only department that's almost pure CAD is Seawolf, because that was a state-of-the-art, and that's being done. So there are places for you if you do not really like to work with the computer.
That's the basic part that I like is the drawing.
Right.
It was that way for me, too, but then when I got on the computer, I found out that I really enjoyed that, probably even more so.
But every department has CAD. I mean, if all of a sudden you find that you like it, it's like,
Yeah, you said that all Seawolf is on CAD. That applied to JJ McMillan, and everything they were showing me was on Seawolf was drawn out.
well, I understood almost all of it was on CAD. Now, there may be some hand-drawn, maybe because McMullen, you were at McMullen? Okay, because they were doing it. and maybe they didn't have the equipment, that was, that's probably the reason.
Yeah, but everything has to be verified and double verified. It goes through basically 2 computer systems. The ship's actually built in a computer before they ever build it on for real. It's kind of interesting when you're doing it. Yes?
What's the difference between the CAD system and AutoCAD?
There's just a few differences in how it prompts you and how you.
Software.
It's just the software on it. It doesn't take you hardly anything to switch from one to the other. There's just a little bit of differences on them. I was told that CAD was faster, but I don't know if that's true or not. We're probably prejudiced. Anybody else? I'll be around afterwards, so if anybody else has any questions, I'll be around.
Okay, thank you, sir. Nancy Burkett, I'll see you next.
You're not gonna move around, so you can just probably lay that there,
I
just
don't know,
hold
I
it in
get
your hand.
excited when I talk. I wave my
Hang
hand.
on. You gotta,
I just kidding.
this thing is theoretically designed, so that, it should hook
Right there.
right there.
All right. I feel like I'm wired. Thank you all for turning out today. We're glad to have this opportunity to talk with you. I'm Nancy Burkett. I'm a technical recruiter in the employment office of Newport News Shipbuilding. And the way we work our co-op program is I would be your initial point of contact. Actually, if you are interested in the program, you should, of course, contact Cecil, and he will get you to complete an employment application, give us a transcript of your grades from Thomas Nelson. He'll send that to me. I review it. If it looks like we might have a good opportunity for you, we'll be calling you in for an interview and a plant visit. And what that involves is we contact you, ask you to come in. We work around your school schedules. If you're in school, we try to do that as much as we can. But it's almost a full day process. You'll come to the employment office. You will talk with me. We'll have an interview. We'll take you out to lunch that day up in our management cafeteria, give you a great view of the shipyard. It's not all that great of food, but no, the food is fine. And after your lunch, and during the lunch, you'll meet with John Pulley and also a co-op from a selected area that might have something in common with you, that can tell you what they've been doing in their program, just like Shanna did a couple of minutes ago. To answer any questions that you have, the co-ops are very frank. They'll lay it on the line to you. They'll tell you what's good and what's bad about the shipyard. And we just sit there and kind of let you all discuss and interject when we feel it's appropriate. But that gives you a chance to talk with them, find out if it seems to be a good program for you. Then after lunch, you get to go through a pre-employment physical process. All of our applicants have that. That does include substance abuse testing, if you're wondering about that. And then you'll finish up the day with us. We'll do a closeout interview. I'll give you some information, literature, and then we get back to you very promptly and let you know what our response is, whether we want to bring you on board into our program. Usually the next day, I would be getting back to you and let you know something. So that's essentially how the application process works. And of course, as we mentioned, you have to wait until you complete your first year here at Thomas Nelson. And what you would do, your first term coming on board with us, once I hire you, once the employment office hires you, John decides really where he wants to place you based upon your interest and our needs. And you work your first term at a monthly salary of $11.50. Your second term that you come back to us, you'd be earning $12.50 per month. Okay? Like Shannon was talking about, if she had been placed into Seawolf and felt like that was an inappropriate area for her, or she didn't enjoy the experience, or she really didn't like all the CAD work, she wanted to get, maybe she wanted to do some carrier work instead of subs, John would do his best to accommodate you, because we think it's very important for this to be a meaningful experience for you. Of course, we're self-serving in the sense that we hope very much that you would decide to stay on with Newport News Shipbuilding after you finish your work terms with us. Because if you do decide to come on board with us, you're automatically productive. Unlike so many junior designers we hire off the street that we have to train and put through the ropes, you all could hit the ground running. Hopefully, what would happen in the course of your employment with us is that you would decide, after working in a particular area, like Shanna, that might be the area that you want to work in after you finish your term with us and get ready for full-time employment. You would have a great advantage compared to those junior designers who come right out of school with no co-op experience, who really don't know what type of design work they want to do, or do they want to work in the sub areas? Do they want to work on carriers? Do they want to do more of the hand-drawn revising of drawings? Or do they want to work more in the computer area? You hopefully, by the time you finish your co-op term with us, will have decided that. So you'll be at a great advantage at that point. Another advantage that you have by co-oping with us is your higher rate. If you do decide to come on board with us after you finish your co-op term and after you've completed your education at Thomas Nelson, regular junior designers that we hire right out of school, we bring in at a rate of $14.50 per month, which is $17,400 per year. Junior designers who've been through our co-op program, we bring in at rates 8 to 10% higher than that. So instead of $17,400 per year, you'll be earning anywhere from $18,780 to $19,140 per year when you finish your co-op term with us and come on board as a junior designer. Those rates will increase by approximately 5% each year, which means in January, these rates are going to be a little out of date. They'll be about 5% higher than what I indicated to you here. We try to keep up to date with inflation, et cetera, and the market value for junior designers. Okay, I have a position description form that I'm just going to put out on the desk here alongside a little pamphlet that we give out that describes a little bit about what some of your duties would be as a junior designer, our standard work hours, 7:30 to 4:30, lunch, etc., and some other details that you might find important. I'll just put it out here on the desk and you can pick it up as you go out today. Did you all have any questions? You were mentioning a few. We'll just start with you.
All right, now, when you go through the co-op, do you all right, you go to school for a year and then work for a year and then go back to school, or do you go to school while working for a year?
No. What you do generally is you complete your year here at Thomas Nelson, come to work with us for a semester, go back to school for a semester, work with us a semester, and then finish up your school. It's alternating semesters, generally.
So while you're in school, you won't be earning any money?
While you're in school, you won't be earning any money from us, no.
That's the only way to do it.
Essentially, yes.
Did you go to co-op if you decided that you wanted to finish the school first?
There wouldn't be any advantage to that. If you finished your school first, you could be hired as a junior designer. You know, just at the regular rate that I told you, $17,400 per year. Someone was mentioning something about the apprentice school. Could you go into the apprentice school? And I don't know how familiar you all are with the Shipyard's apprentice school, but it is a different type of program. As a matter of fact, a lot of apprentice graduates who've been through the 4-year apprentice program are trying to get into design areas. That's the type of work that they would like to do, rather than vice versa. If you went through our co-op with us, completed it, got hired as a junior designer between $18,000 and $19,000 per year, well, apprentices start at an hourly rate of $6 an hour. It's only by the end of their 4-year term with us that they will be earning close to what you're making. I think by the end of 4 years, they're earning $20,000 to $22,000 a year. So I don't see any particular advantage in doing it that way, but if that's something that you were interested in, certainly we would try to accommodate you.
I've always been told that the apprenticeship was better
The better of the two?
than a higher degree of basically 4 years, I assume. So.
No, the apprenticeship is really the equivalent of, I think, an associate's degree, or at least if someone who completes the apprenticeship would have credits that would transfer to Thomas Nelson toward their associate's degree. It's essentially the equivalent of associate's degree, a little bit less than an associate's degree. So what a lot of apprentices do is they come here to Thomas Nelson, take design and drafting courses, and then try to get on as designers in the shipyard. So you would be essentially going backward. Yeah, you would be a step ahead of the game as a designer. Yeah.
Take a pay cut also to go to the apprentice school.
Right. Wouldn't make sense. I'm not knocking the apprentice school program at all. I think it's an excellent program. But the type of work you're going to be doing in the apprenticeship program is learning a trade. You learn how to be a pipe fitter, a ship fitter, etc. You don't learn anything about design. You'll learn to read blueprint drawings and things like that, but it's not totally connected. And as I was saying, a lot of apprentices would like to move into design rather than vice versa. So.
The only reason you would make that move is if you decide you want to make a career change. You decide designing and drafting is not
Did you have any more questions? Yeah.
Well, years ago, we had a design apprentice program. We don't have that. It used to be a 5-year curriculum at the shipyard. And it's not in place anymore.
Something that I think you mentioned earlier is, like, what if you all work as a junior designers, that maybe even work your way up to designer and decide that you'd like to get into be an engineer? We offer tuition reimbursement at the shipyard after you've been with us for 2 years. We will reimburse your tuition expenses in any generally job-related classes, which of course an engineering curriculum would be job-related, at a rate of 100% tuition reimbursement for an A in any generally job-related course, 80% for a B, and on down the line from there. So what a lot of our junior designers and designers decide to do is they were working side by side with the engineers for a while. They decide maybe they'd like to branch out into that area. They go back to school. The shipyard pays for it. When you complete your degree, then you have the opportunity for advancing into an engineering position.
They work the same way as the co-op, even more money, one off semester.
No. What I'm talking about, the tuition reimbursement, is something where you would have to be still working full-time.
But you
And
take school at night, right?
yeah, exactly.
Tough load carrying.
Yeah, but I know a lot of people who are doing it.
I just
A lot
had,
of
when
people
I,
are too.
another department I was in, I just had one graduated in August. He went to Thomas Nelson, and then he went to Old Dominion, and he's got his a mechanical engineering degree.
Another
It took him a while to finish it.
Another option would be, of course, we offer an engineering co-op program. So if you worked with us for a certain time period and decided you wanted to go ahead and complete that 4-year degree, you could actually, you would actually have to terminate from the shipyard and then be rehired as an engineering co-op and go off and on, like you were talking about before.
Probability of that.
Excellent, excellent, because
I mean, you didn't take a chance of terminating yourself, and all of a sudden you find yourself out in the cold.
no, we would try to work out something with you beforehand, before you did that. Because see, you're extremely valuable to us, as if you've put in a year or 2 years or whatever as a junior designer or designer with the shipyard, you're extremely valuable. Those are the type of people, sure, we'd like to see you go back and get your engineering degree. We would, right now, we are actively seeking enough co-ops to fill our programs. So, in both engineering and design. So yes, it would be a very high probability that we would, and we would try to arrange something with you beforehand before you actually had to quit. Like that. Yeah.
You're in the co-op, are you working side by side with an experienced designer?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Very good.
exactly. So like Shannon was saying, when she went into it, she really didn't know what to expect. And they will give you as much work as you can handle, you know. But when you get to a point, you can just say, listen, I haven't had that yet in school, or I'm not very familiar with that. Ask questions, ask a million questions. They expect that, you know.
And they're very helpful. I think with most of them, I've always found that our people work with them real well and very well. And usually the co-ops, you know, it's a very cooperative thing. It works well.
What kind of benefits are you going to get when you work?
Okay. While you're co-op with us, you don't get any benefits per se, other than, you know, your regular workers' comp and Social Security and unemployment compensation. If you decided to hire on with us after you become a co-op, after you've gone through your co-op term and graduated, et cetera, the shipyard offers, I should have brought some benefits pamphlets today, but we offer health insurance that covers not only you, but your family also if you had one. No monthly premium regarding the health insurance. We offer dental insurance. Life insurance, we automatically cover you 1.5 times your yearly salary. Short and long-term disability, as well as a retirement plan that we pay into for you. We offer a thrift plan, which is a 401k savings plan, if you're familiar with those at all. You set aside a certain amount of money out of your check, the shipyard matches that money and invests it for you. And
That is the tax either, is it?
that's not taxed, no, until you decide to
Until you
take
take
it
it
out.
Yeah. My father has that through NASA, which is a really good deal.
Yeah,
Basically what you're doing is you're getting a whole lot of money, it's taxed,
yeah,
and then take it out, they do tax that, but it doesn't come your taxes first.
They
yeah.
don't tax your money or the company's contribution either way.
Right, right. I mean, it's an excellent program. You would be crazy not to get involved in it.
Kind of like an IRA, from what I understand.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it basically is.
And if you ever decided to leave the company, you take everything that you put in, plus what the company's put in, plus the interest or dividends that you've earned with you. You know, you don't have to worry about that. And a lot of people do roll it over into IRA if they decide to leave. Other benefits, 2 weeks vacation after you've been with us a year. 2 weeks vacation after a year, And we have an average of 12 yearly holidays we observe, but the shipyard is unique in that we combine some of those holidays together to form the Christmas shutdown period. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Some of you probably have parents in the yard, but we shut down the plant for 2 weeks at Christmas. And then, of course, I mentioned the college tuition reimbursement that you would be eligible for.
You were saying about health coverage and everything. We don't, the time that we spent in the co-op program doesn't apply to benefits for full-time shipyard?
It applies to, for example, if you were to work your last co-op term and then get hired right into the shipyard, we would start with the date that you began that last co-op term. And in some cases, it does apply to your retirement and thrift plan when you've built up enough time in the programs, but we would have to investigate that to see. Like some of our engineering co-ops work with us 5, 6 terms and really build up a long history with us at the shipyard, and we try to apply that time toward the retirement and the thrift plan. But the health insurance coverage is effective your first day of work, and you wouldn't have to wait a probationary period to apply that.
What I was wondering was, say, the time that you were in the co-op wouldn't apply to like sick leave or anything like that.
Shipyard really doesn't have a sick leave policy per se. Junior designers get what's known as MI time, medical incidental time. You get 24 hours of that per year. That's 3 days. And you can take that for any personal business, et cetera, that you need to. If you're sick other than those 3 days, you either take vacation or you take dock time for that time period.
What are the best paid people in that field making now?
Junior designers?
Not a junior designer, but in other words, if I was there for 10 years
What would you get paid?
and progressed after that, or how much?
That's a good question. I really don't know. Do you have a,
You mean a senior designer?
yeah, what's the going
Well,
rate for
The
senior?
thing is, you may not stop at senior designer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, where you would stop if you were doing design work. Then you may go up into the supervisory areas. So it's a hard question to answer, but it's somewhere in the 30,000.
30,000 is what-
Mid-30, something like that.
I think
won't
so.
say, but I'm not really prepared to
For a
rank.
senior designer. Yeah. Of course, and you get into supervision, you're going to be in the,
And it's always adjusted every year.
yeah,
So, I mean, if you start and you're at 10 years, it's going to be,
By the time 10 years,
that's right.
$1,000 a year.
Right, making lots of money. Any other questions that y'all have about the program? Okay.
I got a question.
Yeah.
What happened if you got booted from the shipyard and then you're going through this program? What's the chance of getting into the shipyard?
You got fired from the shipyard?
Yeah. I got sick. Well, it's a long ball story. I mean, it wasn't that bad.
It would
I got
depend.
released from role and never really pursued it. And, the time chapter in life. I think,
What we would do is just take a look at your personnel file, and we might talk to your former supervisor. It would depend upon the circumstances of you leaving, but that's not necessarily going to disqualify you from the program, no. Other questions? No?
it's a case-by-case thing.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Want to see the film? Yeah, yeah. 2.0.
We base mainly on Ace's
Yeah.
part of the program. He's going to monitor, how you're doing and so forth. We rely on the schools to do
You
that.
can't even continue in school or
You can continue in school, yes, with less than 2.0 ranking. However, you cannot use graduation funds. You must have to go to graduation funds.
When do you go about filling the application and returning?
See, so when would you like them to investigate that?
We will do that in the spring.
Do you do it before or after your first?
We'll do it right at the the application for employment filled out, arrange physicals, the interviews, the whole process, and move right in so that you can begin work on or about May 15th. And the reason for the magic May 15 date is that I, at that point in time, have had about a week, I believe, to get all your grades and make sure that you meet all the academic requirements. Basically, we're saying you've got to complete all the courses in the first 2 semesters with a C average of that. Now, you're going to be on an alternating schedule, working, taking at least 1 class at night, and then coming to school full-time, and then going back to work, take at least 1 class at night, and come to school full-time. You signed an agreement with me, all right? And that agreement basically says that you will follow the academic schedule that I schedule for you, okay? You will inform me of any change in job status before the job status change occurs. You will inform me before you add a class, drop a class, do anything, okay? In other words, you know, it sounds like I'm dictating to you every move that you make. And that's somewhat true because I've got to make sure that you stay on track to meet graduation requirements. You don't get yourself in a problem where all of a sudden we have to call you in and say you're no longer eligible and you've got to be in the co-op program. I become your faculty advisor. You must see me before you register for any classes. And I've got everything planned out for you from day 1. All your classes are scheduled at the right times when you can take them, when you're available to take them. Like when you go to work full-time, you come to class in the evening and take class. That class is there for you, the one you're ready to take. And ideally, what I would like to have would be about 20 of you, minimum 20, going to work full-time. And then that same 20 coming back to school full-time, and all 20 of you at the same point academically. Okay? And that's what I force you into that mold. The reason for that, when you go to work, the classes that you're due to take are ongoing. You know, they're offered whether you're here or not. The next semester you come back to school and you've got to take the classes that were taught last semester. I need enough of you to justify that course. You see? If you only got 3 or 4 people that need the class, and I put it on the schedule, the dean's going to cut it. They cancel the class, and you don't have it. So that's why this agreement that you sign up front with me. And I determine academically what you're doing at all times, and tell you when to go to work and when to come to school. All right? And, you know, what it boils down to is if you say, well, I'm not going to agree to do that, then I say, well, so be it. You know, you really don't want in the co-op program very badly. All right? And what it amounts to, if the program's going to be successful, you've got to do it this way. All right? And it works very nicely. Right now, with Shauna and a few others, we don't have the large numbers, and we're scrambling and trying to make sure that they meet graduation on time. I think we only have about 7 right now total in the program, and they're not at the same place academically, and it's a mad scramble to try to ensure that those students get their necessary co-op experience and meet graduation, their graduation dates, and not get stuck and come in and see me one day and say, because of the co-op program, you have forced me to stay at Thomas Nelson 1 additional year to graduate. And that can happen if you don't take the courses at the right time, because the college cannot offer every course every semester. And if you miss the wrong course at the wrong time, you can wait a whole year before you can get that course. And if it's the wrong course, again, that means that there are 2 other courses following it that that's a prerequisite for, that's forced you into that extra year delay. All right. And since I schedule all classes for the division, I protect your interest. That's what it boils down to. Because I put the classes on the schedule for you.
A couple of people that I've talked to that I'm taking classes with now, one of them starts in January.
That's right. Because he was supposed to start last May and couldn't start. So by January, he'll be meshing over with another group.
If there's no chance of any of us getting into that group,
gets you at least 2 co-op experiences, right? That means 6 months of work, and get you to graduate within that year. Don't want you to stay here 3 or 4 years to try to graduate and get in and out of the co-op. That doesn't work.
What would be a good time to get with you to take care to try to do that?
Well, just stop by the office and see the secretary in room 321, engineering office, right? And schedule an appointment, and I'll be there when you get there. But I couldn't tell you now when I will do that.
Maybe plenty of positions, so
Yeah.
that's done.
That's what I wanted to stress. We could hire probably everybody in this room as co-ops. We have a lot of openings available right now. The Shipyard is very strongly committed to the co-op program. Our president was a co-op. We hope very much that you'll investigate co-op opportunities with us. And if I can be of any help, Cecil knows my number. Feel free to call, and I'll be glad to talk it over with you.
I've got one problem with scheduling. I wasn't able to, well, I didn't register until the middle of the week of late registration, so I wasn't able to get all the classes before the first semester. I have 12 credit hours on the schedule, and also, and I was able to get credit for the drafting 151 and the 3 high school draft. How badly is this going to affect me in selection?
I see me on an individual basis, and what I have to do is work it out. What I've got to do is look and see where you are, what courses you're currently taking, what courses we can schedule for the next semester, get you into the work experience next May, and still graduate you in August of '91. Okay? That's what all of you would normally graduate May of '91. The majority, when you started here this semester. You were looking toward graduation at the end of the spring term in '91, which would be on or about May 15 of '91. That's your normal graduation date. If you come into this co-op program and alternate back and forth, you would graduate at the end of that summer, which would be in August of '91. Now, there's exceptions to that, but generally that's the mode you would fit into, just due to the way the classes have to be scheduled and due to the fact that you don't want to take 25 credits every time that you come back to school, and you don't want to be stuck, if you can help it, coming to school 4 nights a week every time you go to work. But that can happen also, right? Like next semester. But we try to work it out so that you're not overloaded academically. It's a reasonable schedule, and you do graduate on time. But I have to work with each one individually. After you get started, you don't have any problem because I'll have a file on you, and anytime you look at it, you know in advance exactly what you're going to do the next semester. And write it down and graduate.
Any other questions? Or? Okay. Well, thank you very much for listening.
It's up to you. I mean, you could leave
How much
7
time?
or 45 minutes. That's fine.
They have, what do you have, 13 minutes?
It's a 13-minute thing, unless they gave me the wrong tape, it should show part of your resting gear system on aircraft carrier for catching planes.
We can
And there's all kinds of different
undo
systems.
your
that
turn
go
the loose.
This is one that we thought we'd show.
I think you'd find it interesting and give you some more ideas about what's going on. All of you interested in seeing it real quick? 13 minutes. It'll be out by then.
Self-assembly. But such is the nature of the new technology. For automatic welding equipment, fuses and machines weigh 900 tons. Superlift does that fit precisely? The symbols of shipbuilding genius. With modular construction,
Should have
the
said
ships
name on
reach
its
with
partnership,
giant
Forged in
strides
Steel.
toward
It's
their
actually
natural element. When the Theodore Roosevelt was launched, she was 17 months ahead of schedule. Abraham Lincoln and George Washington will be ready for sea even sooner. This achievement was made possible not only by innovative design and construction techniques, but
Well, that
also
was
by
at
the
sea last
foresight
week.
of the Navy, with its design concept, its